Are we okay? We got to fucking... We've got to do the fucking shit that we for fucking drug abuse. No! Are you listening?
Sean here, and we are going to be talking about Lorne Armstrong's lack of imagination and creativity. I cannot imagine in his youth that he had a lot of opportunities to express his creativity, let alone use his imagination. I'm guessing Lorne fits in a specific R. I have 5 R's that I classify people in when it comes to creativity. This is something I came up with for a speech. Recite, recycle, repair, repeat, and regurgitate. Recite, like actors, cover bands. Recycle, you look no further than the magic world. They have a saying, whatever's old is new. So they take old concepts, update it with new technology, because there's always some kind of new technology. The amount of things we can do with playing cards now compared to what we could do back then with Scotch tape, woo, night and day. So I'm going to use that as an example of recycle. Then you have regurgitate. These are the people who absorb whatever is around them. If they're in a specific setting, they're going to use all the slogans, all the buzzwords. I knew for a fact that my ex was seeing somebody else because that person said some specific things and she was repeating those back and using them as her own. Big clue. Repair, those are people like editors, people like Lorne, not just that they mend things. These are like music executive producers that come in, movie producers that come in, like on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I heard, from what I understand, the ending of that movie, which I won't spoil in case you haven't seen it, and also a scene with the German doctor. They weren't originally in the movie. It was somebody who came back, one of the higher-ups, I need this in the movie, let's put it in the movie, it'll make it better. And it did not at all. So those are the repair. Lorne is repeat. And I'm going to tell you why I think he still does poetry. Because he gives up on everything else. In 4th grade, well, it was 3rd grade, I think, we wrote poetry, and the teacher put together this nice book. It had a little shiny cardboard outside, and then everybody else's printed on with purple ink, put on the inside, and we took it home, and I think I still have mine. I mean, I could even read it. Lorne writes at a toddler level, but we're going to talk about why he still does poetry. I guarantee you he was in class. They were writing poetry. He wrote a poem for his mom or his aunt or somebody, and the teacher might have done what's called highlighting, where she's like, oh, class, Lorne, read your poem. And he read his little 5-line poem, and the class clapped, as they always do, oh, give him a round. And Lorne has remembered that for the rest of his life, and he has been chasing that. He's been chasing it like a one-hit wonder, only on a much smaller scale. This also happened, if you remember, with the karaoke story that he tells to every catfish, how we used to sing at a karaoke bar. People walking by outside would stop, like we always do when we're walking by. Could be because it's bad, probably because we're wondering, is that a live band or karaoke? He thinks it's because he was country music level star. And I bet you he'd go home every night. Yeah, I remember when I was singing, let me tell you about this time. Tony Farmer probably heard that story a billion times. I have a friend that tells me the same stories over and over. And I enjoy them every time. And my ex-wife's grandmother, she told me the same story over and over, each time with a little bit of a twist. And she was getting dementia, Alzheimer's. And I was okay with it because I loved her grandmother. I did. And it was like she was telling me the story for the first time. Each time she was so excited to tell me. Who am I to take that away from her when she starts talking? If I go, oh, you already told me this. If she was that excited, I just let her go. Because that's all I cared about, was that she was happy. Now, Lorne, on the other hand, he wouldn't have a full life. I mean, look at him now. I drove truck, I was busted, I put out some YouTube videos. He would just play. He's never written a song as far as I know, and if he did, it's probably, I believe in you, gave you all my trust, and that's probably about it. That's his song right there that he would sing to everyone. He learned one song, I Loved Her First, I'm guessing, and he got a little bit of praise for that, and that's why he sings it over and over. When he sang that song to Jamie Amy, and he was reading off the sheet music, I thought to myself, if I was trying to impress a girl, the last thing I would do is read sheet music. I would learn the song. I wouldn't go, oh my God, what am I going to do to win her back? And I just pull out some sheet music and sing off key with basic strumming. I would learn the song, learn the breaks, learn the pauses. I would play it like I'd never played it before. But in the first place, I wouldn't play country music because Jamie Amy Robot hated country music. But again, he's selfish. He only thinks about himself. You know, there was a time during my marriage, I was kind of the same way. Like, I thought I was doing something really romantic, but in reality, like Frank Sinatra, my favorite singer, hers was James Taylor. Now, I should have used a James Taylor song, but I used a Frank Sinatra song that I thought was romantic, like an idiot. I have a lot of creativity. I don't know if I have more than the average, but it's something I've always been involved in. I've always been involved in something creative. I love it. I come up with new moves in Magic. They give me the Prince of Cards title. I dive into things and I get into it. I really like to get underneath it. And I do repair sometimes. I take some things that are existing, try to make them better. This is not about me, this is about Lorne. I don't think Lorne has ever dove into anything. Nothing. Not even singing. I mean, every one of his songs is strum, 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 strum. Strum, strum. And there's no heart, no oomph, no nothing. And that's why when he says he's going to be a country music star, it makes me laugh. Because I can go down right now where I live, go downtown and find a singer that's 100 times better than him at a bar down there that does it professionally. When he was growing up, I just can't see him sitting around. I don't think they had a lot of outreach programs, and if Lorne was as poor as he says, which we'll never know, they don't have a lot of outreach programs where they're bringing people into camp, or even if he went to some kind of camp, it was some kind of farming camp, I'm sure. But even if he went to camp, I don't even know if they had an arts and crafts program. The camps I went to, they did. And I really got into it. I mean, you know, paper mache, and so, I mean, there were so many things that we did. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Lorne, I don't think ever did that. Does he have any skills other than moving dirt from one side of his trailer to the other? Putting an oscillating fan up for a ceiling fan? Playing music? Reading off sheet music? I can't think of any. I don't know of any crafts that he didn't learn anything. He could have made these women something and sent it to them. But he doesn't. Because he's lazy. He has no creativity at all in his body. I don't understand it. Everybody I know has some kind of hobby. My friend builds electronic football sets. Yes. And you wouldn't even guess this man had any kind of hobbies that he's into. But he does. Because he's a jock, you know. You wouldn't expect him to sit down and take all this care of painting the miniatures and everything, but he does. Lorne doesn't have anything that he does as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned. I can't imagine he was doing art when he was growing up, and if he did art, it would be like an apple with a shadow for the rest of his life. I don't even know if he could do that. That would be something he could have learned how to paint or draw and send it to these women. Something that showed he had talent. He's stuck with singing, and that's all he will ever do. So his childhood was not filled with opportunities, I would guess, to do creative things, to use his imagination. If he was alone and he was raised by mom, like I used to sit outside with toys and imagine they were in different worlds and the military guys were really fighting, and I could see it in my head. Lorne probably, why would I want to play with any of them toys? I don't like video games because you don't understand them, which is why, like I said, you wouldn't understand CGI movies. You just wouldn't. You probably watched Dumb and Dumber and it was almost too high tech for you, but you did remember, so you're telling me there's a chance. So he wouldn't be in any of those movies that requires, or magic, suspension of disbelief. Pro wrestling. Come on, Lorne. Even Dustin is into that. Something that my son, into Pokemon. Like, he knows a lot about Pokemon. He dives in. And that's his hobby right now. And I'm okay with that because I think it's really cool. I doubt Lorne had anything, not even baseball collections. He goes around and buys stuff for the yard sale. Maybe that's using imagination, that he's going to sell some of the crap he buys for a lot of money. I don't know, but I can tell you that he lacks creativity and he lacks imagination, and it probably started at an early age, and being 87 doesn't help. That's my video for today. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.